What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Smart Student, where today I'm going to teach you how to generate research questions. This is part 2 because in part 1 I taught you how to formulate effective research topics. Now we need to come up with the researching questions based on that topic. And so first things first, what is a research question? And now it's in the name, so it's kind of pointless to go over this, but it's still important. So research question, that's going to be the question that your research is based. So it's going to be the direction for your research. And now if you're thinking, why do we need a research question? We have a researching topic. So think of it like this. Your researching topic, that's the scope in which you're going to conduct your research. This is point A. It's your starting point. If that's all you have, well, which direction are you going to go? So our researching topic was the impact proper time management skills have on the graduation rate of undergraduate students. Great, that's your starting point. Where exactly are you going to go with that? This is where the research question comes in because it gives you direction within that scope. So point A, researching question, are the directions, the area you're going, and then point B is going to be, well, after you've answered that question. So what is your thesis statement? What is your lasting impression after you've done all of that research? Just how I like to teach students the difference in importance between questions, topics, thesis statements. But let's get back into this. So I like to say research questions have two components, and that is that they're purposeful and they're researchable. Now, let's break these two components down, starting with purposeful. So what does purposeful mean? Well, it's purposeful. So why does the question matter? What definitive thing are you trying to research? So is it a question you're trying to answer? A common misconception that you're trying to set the record straight? A gap in the research that you're trying to fill? Are you going to be solving a problem? The list goes on, but it needs to be purposeful. There needs to be a definitive end to your means. In other words, you're setting yourself up to take a stance, to take a position, aka a thesis statement. We'll get into that in the next video. But next, let's talk about the second component of researchable. What do I mean by this? Well, let's break down the word. You have research able. In other words, you're able to research it. So this question, your research question, if it's going to be based on a problem, it needs to be a problem that actually exists, not just a problem in your life, but one that is widely a problem. Or if it's a common misconception, again, not just a misconception that you had, you need to make sure it's out there in the general public. Same thing with a gap in the research or something you want to debate. There needs to be existing information out there to answer your research question. But now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the steps of coming up with our research question. So let's get into the example portion. All right, so step 1 is, well, to pick your topic. And so I'm gonna just brush through a couple things I think it's important to understand about picking a topic. If you wanna watch the full tutorial of how I take you through it, go ahead and check out that video up there. But all right, so when you're given a paper, an assignment, typically a research paper, you have a general topic, an area to work within. And so for our example, ours was time management. And so we picked a topic within time management because we have to narrow it down from that. And so from our general topic, we landed on the researching topic, impact proper time management skills have on the graduation rate of undergraduate students. Great. The two things I want to point out here, or the one thing I want to point out and two things to note, is note that our researching topic is neutral. In other words, it's not opinionated. It's not the positive impact or the negative impact. And so I specifically teach college students to create researching topics that are unbiased, unopinionated, because you want to wait until later, and here's why. So when you come up with your topic, your researching topic, you haven't done much research. You don't really know a lot about this topic because you've really only done preliminary research. And so you want to wait to become opinionated until you learn more about what's out there on this topic. And so the other reason is if you become opinionated early on, well, that's because you're bringing your preconceived bias into the picture, and you really want to remain unbiased, again, until you know what the information actually says about your topic. So keep it neutral because your thesis statement After you have information is where you're going to interject any type of opinion or a stance or position if you have one. But that's all I'm going to say on coming up with the topic portion of a research question. But we're going to move on to the next step, which is to go do some research. So now that we have our topic, we have our scope that we're going to study, we need to go do some, what I like to call exploratory research. And this is what I call it. I don't know if that's an official term. For example, when you come up with your topic, you do preliminary research. That's the initial research, kind of to just get a feel of what's out there in that general area. Now we need to explore it. We have our topic. We need to not see what the state of information is, but we need to see what that information is saying now. So let's start picking apart the impact proper time management skills have on graduation rate. And surprise, we're in my computer. So I actually filmed the entirety of this video on my camera and then realized that I wanted to give you guys a visual representation of what I was saying. So here we go. Here's my fanciful visual representation, and let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. So here's our general topic. There's our topic as we discussed. Now we're moving on to the exploratory researching phase. And so the remainder of these steps is very much the process I was talking about. It's not going to go in definitive order and you'll be done. This is very much going to be a lot of refining and working through it. And so you're going to the internet, wherever you're doing the majority of your research. We're going to say we're doing ours in Google Scholar, and now we're paying attention to what the information is saying. I have this little trick called the what and how questions before or kind of while you're doing this exploratory research, and basically what it is, and all these answers here are in white so I can reveal them to you guys like magic. Boom. Okay, so what and how and what. This is just a trick to take your topic and start to translate it into a basic working research question, because I find this really helps students putting them in that direction of formulating their question. So how do proper time management skills impact the graduation rate of undergraduate students? Or what impact does proper time management skills have on the graduation rate of undergraduate students? These are two really great starting points. This is not a research question. Let me just point that out right now. That is not a research question, but that's a great starting point for finding yours. So we go to Google Scholar. We have these questions in hand, all the keywords associated with our topic. And now we're paying attention to the information. And so the way, or just one of my favorite things to tell, I just made it white on white. Okay. One thing I like to teach students when they're doing this exploratory essay or research is you really want to pay attention to what's trending. So when you type in these questions and you're sifting through the articles, what are some of the common themes? What is being said, for example, about time management skills when it comes to college students? So is the information talking about time management helping them graduate, or perhaps they're looking at the opposite of time management skills in college students not having them? Topics like procrastination and how procrastination hinders the graduation rate. And so right now you're paying attention to what's being said and really getting a feel for the direction you want to take your research. And so as you can see here, you want to keep asking yourself more questions. So when it comes to the keywords in here, let's take time management skills. What about these time management skills? Again, are they helping them graduate, or are they not helping them graduate because they don't have time management skills? By the way, graduation rate. Are we increasing the graduation rate? Are we decreasing it? Undergraduate students, can we be more specific there? Because undergraduate students, that's a pretty big pool of people to work with. And so as you're doing this, you're going to be taking those basic research questions. Now we're coming up with some working research questions. So these are going to be a little more definitive, a little more finalized, but not quite there yet. And so, for example, maybe the first thing we start to notice is increase the probability of these undergraduate students graduating. We really see that there's a lot of data, information backing time management skills helping college students graduating. So we kind of take out the idea that we don't want to focus on this from a procrastination point of view. We don't want to look at it from the negative point of view. We're going to stay positive here. Great. So we like the increase the likelihood of college students graduating. So How does proper time management increase? So what time management skills increase? We still have our what and how. As we refine more, we notice something else. We notice a trend. So a lot of the information out there right now, when we're talking about time management skills and graduating, there's a lot of studies on online college students who are in online programs. And so now we're refining even more because there's a lot of data for online students. And so time management skills increasing the likelihood of them graduating. Now we're onto something. Now we're diving down from our scope, our topic, and we're finding a direction within that topic, because this is very much so specific without being too specific. Remember, you don't want to get too specific to where there's not really much information. It needs to be a researchable question, but this definitely has a purpose and it's researchable. And so now what I suggest doing is taking all this data from your exploratory research, come up with a final working question. So just kind of put something sloppy down in writing so you can look at it and really try it on, see how it feels. And so we might come up with something like this. What are the top time management skills that increase the likelihood of undergraduate students graduating who are enrolled in online programs? All right, I like this. Like I said, it's purposeful, it's researchable, it's specific. I like it. It just doesn't sound quite right. And I find a lot of students come to me with working thesis or research questions that sound like this. It's like your brain knows what it's trying to say, but you can't quite translate that down into writing. And so when you do this, you want to finalize it. And this is really tough to conceptualize because essentially, I'm just going to take this and polish it up. And so I'm actually just going to show you the final research question, what it might be, and then we'll talk about it a little more. So again, we like this working question. After polishing it, our question might end up being something like this. What are the leading time management practices that are associated with a high graduation rate of college students graduating from their bachelor's programs while enrolled in online programs? And I'm actually going to take graduating from their bachelor's or graduating with their bachelor's. See? Bachelor's degree. Refining is a process, and I'm actually glad that happened because it just sounds better. So I don't know if you just noticed what I did, but I noticed that I had a duplicate of programs and programs. And so I just found a nicer way to say that without repeating the same word. And that's much of what this is. And so top time management skills. What am I trying to say here? Leading time management practices. That sounds a little more formal, so that's why I went with that. Now, increase the likelihood of undergraduate students graduating. That sounds a little not elementary, but it doesn't quite sound college level finalized research question. And so after refining that, I might come up with something like this, that are associated with a high graduation rate of college students graduating. So as you can see, again, it's just more formalized. And then finally, same thing with their bachelor's degree who are enrolled in online programs. It's simply communicating the idea we had here, but making it definitive, making it that full, well-rounded researching question. So as you can see, we have a research question. It's very clear who we're going to be studying: college students that are getting their bachelor's degree who are enrolled in online programs. That's specific and very researchable at the same time. And then also what we're researching about them is we want to know what are the leading time management practices that help them graduate, that are associated with that high graduation rate. And so this is why this is an effective research question. Now, one more important thing that I want to note before I get back to my camera, and that is that don't get stressed out if you don't come up with this finalized research question right now. One of my best tips, quite frankly, is actually take your working research question and go start doing your research with that, because you can always refine this question as you do your research. Because let's say you go out there and you start researching this question, this question can morph into something else as you bring in new information, because the more research you do, the more knowledge you gain, the more you're gonna know about this topic. And so you may find that you want to tweak this a little bit. And so don't be worried if you don't have this nice, clean cut, polished, finalized question right now. I just wanted to show you what a working question is versus a finalized researching question, because I know a lot of students researching questions, they get stuck right here, and you can take it just that step further. And it's basically just clarifying what your working question is. And so keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to change your question at any time. Revise, revise, revise. All right, I hope you found this video helpful and you have a clear understanding of coming up with research questions. Keep in mind, we're taking this research question and I'm gonna formulate my thesis statement in the next video, so you wanna stick around for that. And again, if you need help with the topic portion, check out this video up here. But yeah, for now, I think that's gonna be a wrap. By the way, if you have any questions on this, feel free to leave them down below. I do my best to answer as many of you as possible. And quite frankly, you can just say hi, because that always makes my day to see who's watching. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy your week.